Alright, it's that time of the year again. I'm excited. I know that guy back there is excited. Let's talk about Rogue One. So Rogue One, a Star Wars story. This movie is directed by Gareth Edwards, and it's the first movie in the Star Wars anthology spin-off series that they're trying to do at Lucasfilm. You guys ever seen the original Star Wars movie? You know the opening crawl, Rebel spies trying to steal the Death Star plans? That's this movie. If you guys are wondering in the timeline where this takes place, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right next to episode 4. I don't know why that's so hard to grasp. And I'm going to keep this review as spoiler free as I can. There's going to be no spoilers in here. I might talk about a couple things that happened in some of the trailers, so if you haven't seen the trailers for this movie, then you might want to steer clear of this review. But let's get down to it. Rogue One is about Jyn Erso. Her father, Galen Erso, was a scientist who helped construct the Death Star, and so the rebellion recruits her, and she has to go find Galen, and ultimately they got to get the plans to the Death Star. And let's start out talking about the good in this movie, because there's a lot. First of all, I love the whole crew in this movie. Primarily you have Jyn, you have Bodhi, K2SO, Chirrut Imwe, Cassian Andor, and Baze Malbus. I liked them all. Some of the standouts for me, Jyn Erso, of course, she's played by Felicity Jones. Felicity Jones was awesome in this movie. She had a couple lines in the trailer that I wasn't fully sold on, but all those doubts came to rest because when I was watching the movie, I was like, she's in Star Wars. She's Jyn Erso. She doesn't feel like someone who's acting. She feels like the actual character. I also really like Diego Luna as Cassian Andor. What this movie kind of does from time to time is it blurs the lines as far as completely good and completely bad. Like, you still have Empire's bad, Rebellion's good, but there's a couple times when the Rebellion will make a call and it's not the most squeaky clean thing. And there's some times when Cassian is stuck in the middle of that. So I thought that dynamic was good. I liked his relationship with Jyn. Donnie Yen was really good as Chirrut Imwe too. He's kind of like our connection to the Force in this movie. And of course, Darth Vader's in this movie. He's a Sith Lord, but he's not in it quite as much. So the main Force connection in this movie is Chirrut Imwe. He has this new layer to the Force that we haven't really seen before. Because before this, all the Force users have primarily been Jedi. I mean, you had Princess Leia in Empire and Return of the Jedi. She could sense that Luke was alive. But for the most part, it's people with lightsabers. Chirrut Imwe is not like that, but he still feels the Force. He's got a couple scenes. I don't want to spoil it. I also like Krennic in this movie and the relationship he has with Vader and some of the other people in the Empire. I also liked his relationship with Galen, and also this is the first time that I actually read an expanded universe novel. But leading up to this movie, I read the book Catalyst. It deals with Galen Erso, Orson Krennic, and I don't think that you have to read this book to get this movie, but I felt like the characters came alive a lot more. Like from the very first scene of this movie, I was thinking to myself, like, that's the Galen I read about. That's that Krennic I read about. Again, I really liked basically everybody in this movie. Forrest Whitaker's character, I didn't really love. I don't know if it's a spoiler to say who he plays, so I'm not gonna say it. It's not so much his character. Like, I like his character. It's more of just in the way that Forrest Whitaker portrayed him. And granted, I don't know everything that there is to know about this character, and I will get to that a little bit more in the spoiler review. But just the way he talked. Did you guys see Jupiter Ascending? It almost reminded me of Eddie Redmayne in that movie. You know how he had that really weird, raspy voice? Forrest Whitaker kind of has that in this movie. And it's not that distracting like it was in Jupiter Ascending, but it doesn't sound like Forrest Whitaker. Going on to the direction of this movie, the movie looks amazing. It's this cool blend because it looks like you're back in 1977. Like, aesthetically, it looks a lot like the original Star Wars movie, but this movie definitely didn't come out in 1977. It's updated with this new tech. I think both this movie and Force Awakens were a good blend of practical effects and CGI. Because let's face it, CGI is not a bad tool. It's just when you overuse it. I feel like in Rogue One, they managed a good blend of both types of effects. The movie's not quite the Saving Private Ryan in space that Gareth Edwards and Kathleen Kennedy were hyping up. There are definitely a couple times when they have to shy away from some of the more graphic parts, but the movie doesn't feel nerfed because of any of that. If I do have a couple complaints with this movie, at first the movie's kind of jumping all over the place, and I noticed that with Catalyst too. At a point, Catalyst was trying to juggle about 3 different story arcs. Rogue One kind of starts out the same way. You have these people here, these people here, these people here. They're trying to give each group an equal amount of screen time, but there's a couple times when it doesn't really feel as focused as it should be. However, there's a point in this movie, probably about an hour in. From that point on, I thought the movie was amazing. This movie is a much different movie from the other movies in the Star Wars series because it's not an episode number, obviously. This plays out more like an expanded universe type of thing. So I feel like if you are a really like big Star Wars fan, you're gonna get a little more out of this than, you know, like the average movie fan. I will say I love the Star Wars movies. I haven't read too much of the expanded universe stuff. Like I said, Catalyst was really my first like detour into it. Although I do watch Rebels and I'm watching the Clone Wars TV show as well. So I know a little bit, but I'm not like a huge diehard fan. But I'm sure if you've read some of the other expanded universe stuff, you're gonna pick up on a lot more things. You're also gonna love this movie a lot more. For casual movie fans, I think this is an awesome movie. There's a lot of cool tie-ins to the original Star Wars movie. A couple of characters popped up that I wasn't expecting. My mouth dropped. But I also think if you're more steeped in Star Wars, you're gonna love this movie even more. Rogue One is well acted. It's got a cool script. It's a little slow at the beginning, but the effects are really cool. This just opens up a whole new window to Star Wars that I really want to see more of now. That being said, I'll take episode numbers any day. However, what a great movie should do is right when you leave the theater, you should want to go right back in. That's how I felt after watching Rogue One. So go check out Rogue One. I think it's an awesome movie. It's a great start to the Star Wars anthology thing that Lucasfilm is trying to do, and it's just a good time all around. So if you guys have seen Rogue One, a Star Wars story, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments. I'm gonna make a spoiler video for this. I do want to see the movie a second second time before I do that spoiler video. And I'm also going out of town this weekend, so that might not happen until closer to Christmas, but that review is coming. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you can click subscribe and check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.